Shall we continue our storytelling from Ruby Rose's book Entombed in White? Here is a story about Oanga. It is I. We start with a quote from T.S. Eliot. Time present and time past are both perhaps in time future, and time future contained in time. The communication of the dead is tongued with fire beyond the language of the living. That's by T.S. Eliot. But Ruby Rose's story. Many years ago, in the year 1910, along the shores of northeastern Greenland, sprinklings of small villages inhabited by Inuits could be seen everywhere. They had come because of the richness of the sea. Minuk, so named, no, it's Minik, so named before birth, after the death of one of his uncles. His wife, Arnuk, the woman, their son, Tikisi, boy who smiles, and Minik's father, Kritleg, named after one of the greatest shamans in history, lived in such a village. They were a peaceful and happy family, living one day at a time in their perpetual battle against nature, in world's hardest climate, in their fight for existence. There was nothing wasted. Everything had its use. Abundant animal life in the Arctic. Seal, walrus, whales, polar bear, Arctic fox, snow hare, caribou, and muskox all were used for food, clothes, beds, boats, winter tents, as well as utensils which were made from bones and teeth. During the winter months, the small family lived in some semi-subterranean house made of stones and lumps of earth and grass cut from the ground. The roof's frame was made from pieces of driftwood and ribs of whales. There was an entrance tunnel about 15 feet long. 15 feet long. That would be more than 6 meters. A floor in which was laid with flat stones, with the walls being piled up stones. The ceiling consisted of flat stones with peat or turf. The tunnel was made low, therefore one had to crawl on their hands and knees. Inside the house, the walls were lined with sealskins. There were benches or platforms of snow and stones covered with dry grass and many layers of sealskin for the family to sleep on at night or to lounge on during the day. There was only one window, and it was covered with seal gut, from which light could shine through, but no one could see through it. A tiny eye hole was cut in the seal gut so the family could see what was going on outside in the middle of the room. There was the kudlu, the small soapstone lamp, which was kept burning at all times. It was used to both heat and light the house. Blubber layers of fat from seal and walrus were used for fuel for the lamp. The small lamp was like a big saucer carved out of kudlik soapstone, a soft rock that was found up north. There was oil in the saucer, and a little wick of dried moss rested in the oil. The end of the wick hung over the edge of the lamp, where 2 stones were struck together to make a spark and light the wick of dried moss. Oil came up through the wick and burned with a hot flame about 2 inches high. The cooking pot of soapstone hung over the flame, where the meat was always being cooked. and available for all who lived in the house and visitors. There were usually clothes and boots hanging on poles and drying racks. The smell of blubber oil burning was always in their shelter. Igloos of snow were only made for when on a hunt or on special occasions. Tikisi, boy who smiles, lived in such a dwelling with his mother, father, his grandfather. Minik, his father, was a short, sturdy man with long, black, straight hair worn loosely. He had prominent cheekbones with folds partially concealing piercing black, slanting eyes with many lines. Minik resembled Kitterleg, his father. As other men in the village, he usually wore white bearskin trousers with a coat of fox fur with a hood for the cold winter, switching to a coat of seal fur for the summer. His stockings were made of hare skins, which were kept pliable and soft by his wife, who chewed them carefully every morning. Layers of dried grass had to be changed every day and were put between the two pairs of soles. Seal and caribou skin was used to make the mittens. Under his coat, Minik wore a birdskin shirt, feathers inside, being the only tight-fitting garment, and as other skin clothes were loose, so as to allow for ventilation and avoid getting wet. His kamiks, his boots, made from seal skin, went up to the kneecap and were roomy.